Hey everybody out there, it's Alabama Deep coming back at you. Okay, I'm going to be doing another watch video. It's going to be in a day or so. It's going to be on Crunchy. I've had, of course, the sale of the house. Now I'm trying to move all the junk out. I've been given a very brief period of time to get everything out of the house. So I am doing that because, of course, we like our stuff. We want it safe. I don't have a moving truck right now, so everything's having to be taken by car and by hearse, because I do have a hearse. I do have to move it. Thinking about probably going to be on Sunday. Could be Monday too. I've got to change a tire out on that, load up some furniture, the remaining stuff, and get it over there. So my time has been took up by making sure all of my wife's things are at the house, all of my things are at the house. Of course, it's been rough for the last several months. Oh goodness, we were brought almost to financial ruin and almost homeless, but it turned around for the better. Even though I did not make what I wanted to off the sale of our house, it did sell. I did take a loss on what I originally bought it for, but the money was there. I did not turn it down. I took it. So with that, we do get to close on the place we're in now, because that goes back to the story door deal. If you watched my previous video when I was working on a few watches, you saw in the video, or heard in the video, about how Story Door eventually took advantage of us. They backed out after saying that they were all in, saying it was okay to move in, you had nothing to worry about, go ahead. Owner of the place saying, yeah, go ahead and move in. We need you to do the house payment. We can't really do it. We got a $2,000 house payment ourselves. We can't really float it. Go ahead and move in. Okay, so I got everyone telling me to go ahead and it's okay to move in. Against my best judgment, I did that. And also, my wife being in pretty poor health, I didn't really have a choice. It was just a very bad situation for her. Mentally, she was destroyed. She hated that house. There's more to that. I'm kind of hesitant to go in detail, but I'm not sure what y'all would think about that if I told you. But there was something else in the house besides us. I'm not saying what it is. I'm not going there with it, but it affected my wife mentally to the point of collapse. I had to get her out. So I moved her out. Within days, she's almost back to her normal self. So, yeah, it's just one of those things. But anyway, so things did turn around. With the selling of the house, I was given 10 days to get everything out. Guys, y'all know from my previous talks in the past, being physically disabled, that's not easy to do. And it's just very, very rough. And believe me, if I could survive off the government check, I probably would, because with the condition that I have, I got a very small window of time before I'm stuck in a wheelchair. And the more and more I put on my joints, the quicker and quicker that day will come. And right now my joints are that of a 75-year-old. Even though I look like I'm a younger guy, that's not the case. Internally, I'm 75 years old. As far as my skeletal structure goes, it doesn't take much to break a bone now. My joints, they will break just by bending on one knee. That's happened. Working on a car, I've lost a couple joints that have fused now in my hands. because of that. So yeah. Anyway, I want to do a video kind of about watches in a way, but in a way it's more of something I've grown into. But before we get into that, today's watch check, I am wearing a Rolex Datejust diamond bezel, diamond markers, black dial. I think the reference number is 116028, I think. Don't quote me on that. It is, of course, a replica. I did a video on it in the past. But nonetheless, it's a okay-ish replica. It looks pretty good. So, you know, I couldn't really tell the difference just by looking at it. Now, if you held it, yeah, you probably could tell. Listening to it, absolutely. But just by outward appearance, it's very similar to the bluesy sub I have. That is a fashion watch. You can't really tell. It looks very close to a clone. So this one is the same way. So that's the watch I'm wearing today. Okay, so let's talk about what's going on with everyone who wants to afford a Rolex. It's my dream, and the mission of the channel is that if you cannot afford a Rolex, I want to help you get one, or closest to thereof. And in time on your watch journey, you will have a completely real Rolex. And that's always what I've wanted for my viewers. I've built a couple using real parts with clone movements, and those people I have built them for are saving up as we speak to get the real movement, or have the real movement built and put in their watch. And I'm not making any money off that. I'm not. I'm doing it out of the kindness of my heart and a tip. You know, like $50, $70, whatever. Throw it my way. I'll put it together. There is one subscriber out there for his clone sub. He sent me a text message asking how it was going on the build. I thought I was waiting on more parts. I don't know. But I got his text message right in the middle of this move I'm trying to do. So no, I haven't actually put any parts in the watch because I was waiting on more. I thought you were wanting to do a little more realistic, but hey, if that's all you want to do, next available chance I get, I'll slap it together, but I gotta get my stuff out first. So I have to get everything out of my house into the new place. That's what I'm doing. If I do all this, one, I get to keep my stuff, and number two, I'll get a bonus from the guy for actually clearing out the house. I could use that bonus because I did not receive all the money I needed to fully close, so my paycheck will be going into that. I get this bonus that can help. One of the ways that I've figured out a way to put more money into the house, you're going to think this is absolutely crazy and it's a high risk. I don't necessarily see it that way. Is that I don't know if anyone's out there is involved in cryptocurrency, but I'm trying cryptocurrency now. As of today, there's a really big loss. It's very bearish, as they say. Since yesterday, maybe a little bit the night before, the cryptocurrency world value with Bitcoin started coming down. Actually, I think it started coming down a month ago when it was 74,000. Then it got into the 60s. But anyway, I always felt like that was my biggest regret, was I never bought Bitcoin. I was talked out of it by my parents. I was talked out of it by my first wife. I was going to sink a couple $100s in a Bitcoin back in the 2000s. And had I have done that in 2009, 2010, I'd be a billionaire today, no doubt. But I was talked out of it, so I always felt bad about that. So really, I'm trying to figure out to come up with the rest of the money for the closing on the house. I can do that with paychecks easy. But the money that you saw me present on my last video, I took some of that after I put it in the bank, and I sunk it into cryptocurrency. I've got about $800 right now total investment in crypto. I started out with 500. I've made 300 off of it. That's not bad. I made $300 within a couple weeks. That's not bad at all. So I'm real happy with that. And I'm seeing Bitcoin going down. This morning it was like 57,000 per Bitcoin. You better believe I sank $220 into that, because it's going to go back up. You know, it's not going to crash. It's been there for 15 years or whatever. It's not going anywhere. Right now, I know Germany sold or is selling a bunch of their Bitcoin, and that's kind of flooding the market, dropping the value. But, you know, that's about it. But really, anyone that's out there, they're looking to get a replica Rolex. What does Rolex symbolize? Rolex symbolizes wealth. Rolex symbolizes advancement. Rolex symbolizes success. And Rolex symbolizes the rare few men and women out there who will go the extra mile, take a risk physically or financially, and come out winners in the end. That's what Rolex mainly symbolizes to the mass population in the United States. And if you want a real Rolex but you can't afford one, I'm going to suggest to you that maybe you should think about cryptocurrency. That's what I'm doing. Long story short, back also I mentioned that my family has not given me the fair shake with things, or the other grandchildren the fair shake with what Grandma wanted for us before she passed away. And when she did, that full obligation, I don't believe was met, because the grandchildren are still wanting. And that's not what Grandmother was wanting. She was wanting her grandchildren to be financially stable and taken care of for the rest of their lives. That's what she always said. And that hasn't happened. Through pure greed of its own, through the family, money, of course, brings out the worst in people. Or it can, you know. Money brings out greed, hate, and really it shouldn't be that way. It's just paper. But being as it is, it's security. It's the commodity that everybody wants and everybody needs to survive off of. And back with Grandma, there was a time in the 90s where the stock market crashed. Grandma came to me, I don't know why, she had a financial advisor, but she didn't feel like the financial advisor was giving the most sound advice. So she asked me, well, you know, Jimmy, do you think that we should sell all of our region bank stock? You know, she had it in Johnson & Johnson, Scotch, several things. I told her, no, absolutely not. Leave it with region. It will go back up. Don't let it scare you. It may be down right now. It may be below half of what it's worth. Leave it there. It will gradually come back up. If you sell it now, everything you have, you're going to lose half of it. Leave it there. And it was about that time as well, around this time period, she had also asked at other points, you know, what do you think about this new company, Enron? We all know what happened with Enron. If you don't, Google Enron. Well, at that time, it was a small company in Alabama. It was actually in Gunnersville. We had an office in Gunnersville. I told her, hey, go for it. You know, it's a small little company. It looks like it's picking up. Before it does, go ahead. Because I heard it was fixing to go elsewhere and multiply and divide. I overheard that at a conversation at Wendy's with, I think it was two board members having a meeting, or executives talking about it. So you want to call that insider trading? Sure, go ahead. But, you know, I'm a kid. I hear that. grandma asked comes right back to me. Investing in Ron, it starts to go up, it goes up, it goes up. It's getting really massive. Something didn't seem right with her. I told her to dump it, get rid of it, sell it right now. You know, it's done really well. It's at all-time high value. I was like, get rid of it before something bad happens, because nothing good can really come out of this. It's going up way too quick. I was like, Grandma, I mean, I don't know what's going on, but there's something not right with it. So she did, and she saved herself from a catastrophe because they were cooking the books, is what they were doing. And everyone who had invested heavily in it dumped it, made a ton of money off of it, and everyone else ate their losses and lost their houses, lost their jobs, their retirement plans, the whole 9 yards. It was terrible. So financially, I've always been able, some way or another, to make good decisions when it comes to that. It's not that I study on it or anything like that. It's just that my timing seems to be good, and I can just read without even knowing much about the company at all. I can read it and just go with it. And why I never did anything with that, I will never know. That's just like me being an artist. I can paint very beautiful paintings. And a couple of my illustrations are in textbooks today. From being 15, 16 years old in high school, from a contest I was in. Some of my history drawings are actually in some, textbooks for history classes for schools throughout the U.S. I don't know if they are now, because that was years and years and years ago. I'm sure they're out of print now. But yeah, I mean, I never did anything with that. But when everything happened with me and my family and things that were supposed to go a certain way with Grandma's wishes and they didn't, it's made me bitter. It has. And, that was going to be my whole life. And it's gone. So I figure for myself, I've got to earn that back. And so I'm using whatever abilities I have, and I'm in crypto, taking a chance on that. So far, I've made over $300 in the last couple of weeks using crypto. I've done very well with that. Now look, I'm not making millions or anything like that yet, but I figure within a week and a half making $300, hey, that's not bad. That's pretty darn good. And if I had more to sink into it, I'm sure I could make a lot more money. And that's what I'm going to do. So in that regard, hopefully in time, I will become more financially stable than what I am right now, which right now we're at a 180. We're financially stable right now. All the pressure is gone. I'm still working my 2 jobs. I'm not quitting those yet. Not at all. But if I wanted to, I really could. Of course, I'd have to find a job in a couple months, but, I could if I wanted to, but I don't want to. Now, that may change as this bull run comes through in cryptocurrency. And if you don't know much about it, if you're afraid of it, look into it, and see if that's what you want to do. Because everyone wants a real Rolex. Everyone does. But you can't afford one. So why not think outside the box and start educating yourself on cryptocurrency? I think that's the best way to go. At least for me, it's going to be to help turn my financial situation around even more. I have a ton of coins, and I'm going to tell you what I have my coins in. One, I bought some Bitcoin. It fell to 57,000 this morning. I seized the opportunity. I sunk some money into Bitcoin. Okay, it's now up to 58,000. It's already earning me a return. let's continue. It continues to go that way. I have XAI that I've invested in. Of course, I invested. Hang on, let me think about some others that I've invested in. I'm trying to think of them all. I have to go back over because some of them I can't now off the top of my head, but they seem like really good companies from what I was seeing, and from researching a little bit on, they seem nice to invest in. I've invested in Dogecoin. Of course, that's going to be a top favorite. Shinu Inu, I've invested in. I do see potential for that. It may take it a while, but I think it's going to be fine. There's several others that I have invested in right now, and I think it's going to do fine. But really, folks, if you're really, want a Rolex, and whether they're a nice watch, because they are very nice watches, you can admire them for just being nice. And of course they are very nice watches. But there's the symbolism of it is success, wealth, stamina, a powerful presence in the room. That's what a lot of people think about with a Rolex. And if you really want to own that Rolex, then maybe use that as a way of thinking of becoming more successful in your life. I have always been told that go out, earn a degree, get a good paying job, have a nice life. And, not everybody can do that. I mean, they can't. School, I have figured out going back to school is a whole lot harder than what it was when I was in high school. Now, granted, I have a 4-year degree in business management that I got years ago. But working toward my mortuary science degree, associates, wow, that's hard. So much has changed. So not everybody can do that. And some people, they do have regrets that they wish they could go back and they could do that. My advice is what I've just said, is that you can start by being a trader maybe. Is that where I'm going? Other than being a watchmaker? I think so. I definitely think so. I've done well in the past with it when I was a kid with grandma. I'm doing well with it now. I don't really know how. It just seems like a wise move to make. It seemed like common sense. Every move I've taken seems like it's a wise move. Now, perhaps I shouldn't have bought as much Bitcoin as I did at $57,000. Maybe see if it drops any more. But my gut feeling told me to go ahead and buy it. It wasn't going to go much lower. We'll wait and see if that's true or not. I'm fixing to go check crypto.com again. But anyway, this is one of those videos to update you on what's going on. I'm clearing out my house. I have been for the past 4 days. Before that was my usual work schedule. I got to resume my usual work schedule tomorrow, so it's going to be very hard to do anything with that house, and I don't want to lose our stuff. So I'm doing that today. I promise you I will get that next video out as soon as I can. I just want to make sure all of our things are safe and secure, because we've lost enough. We don't need, my wife included, we don't need to lose any more than what we already have. Because before I met her, I lost enough through the divorce. And I don't mean, physical things. Even though ultimately that was part of it, but I lost my family. I lost my first wife. At the time, I lost my children, because I raised those kids myself. Because at one point I was living off of this building, and I raised those kids, and not seeing them for such a long time with her holding out, that really hurt. Put me in the hospital, actually. Broken heart syndrome is what they called it. It almost killed me. But yeah, we've lost enough. We're not losing anymore. I sold my original house and land for my second wife, for her to be happy. Tiny house was not it. We thought it was going to be, but she's in a wheelchair. She can't function with the floor plan the way we thought. So we needed something else. She picked out this brand new manufactured home, which I'm fine with that. It's got a roof, it's got walls, it's brand new. I could care less. Smells brand new, perfect. I don't mind living in it. It's not like they were back in the 80s, that's for sure. At least not all the way. And we bought it at a great price. You know, these mobile manufactured homes are expensive. They're usually about $80,000, $90,000 now. That's a lot of money. We got this for $55,000. Not bad, not bad, not bad. And hopefully before long I'll have it paid completely off with my crypto venture. But you know, I think it's a really smart move. If y'all don't do crypto, hey, get into it. I see a lot of money to be made. Right now it's bearish, and that means everything's going down. That's the best time to buy. And hang on to it until it turns bullish. It starts going up, which it will. And then I'm selling and getting out. And then I'll repeat the cycle all over again. Because one thing I'm not going to do is after it goes up to a certain amount, I'm not hanging on to it because it's going to go back down. So I am personally just going to give this a good push. Right now I got about $1,000 put into crypto. And that's doing good. That's doing real good. Doing very good. So anyway, guys, gals, I'm out. I've got to get this house cleaned out. I promise I'll get that crunchy video out as soon as possible. I have got to do that. I'm waiting on a part to come in, but I can go ahead and start the build. I got to work out a glitch, possible glitch. I don't know. Like I said, I haven't had much time to do that between working both jobs and then moving. I've had times to glance at it, and that's about it. So I'll get that video out to you as soon as I can. Everybody have a happy 4th of July, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye-bye for now.